Davis making 5 sacks, and it's 4th down. If you thought this was a must-win for Seattle, here's Gino. Will heave one. And it's knocked away. Demario Davis stepped in front of DK Metcalf.
Oh, this is interesting to see. Your daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, and gambling. I am Nick. Wow, what a trash game to end a trash weekend of trash football. It was raining. It was gross. It was 2 quarterbacks that everybody thought would be better than they are. But Geno Smith's all right. Seattle Seahawks, they lose to the New Orleans Saints in Seattle in a sloppy rain fest. We'll get to that game coming up in a little bit. NFL situation right now is really interesting. A lot of people look like, how do I say this politely, morons for their takes. And on a day like today, I'm really glad that Old Takes Exposed, the Twitter account, an Instagram account that goes around and retweets and makes people eat their vegetables for their trash takes. I'm really glad that guy exists. He's a true American hero. It's genuine journalism. Let's take a look at some of the trash takes. No, we're not going to look at takes. We're going to look at standings. All I hear about all the time is how good certain teams are. The Rams, they're good. The Niners, the Seahawks, and the Chiefs, however, are bad. The Niners are 2-4. The Seattle Seahawks are 2-5. They're in the same division. Everybody, they're going to go. I think they're just so good. Narratives. The Chiefs are 3-4. The Chiefs are 3-4. Unbelievable how bad these guys are. Hilarious. Don't get me wrong, hilarious, but unbelievable. Just preposterous. So I'm really glad that those takes exist. Seattle, I think they're going to have to break it down. Teams are going to be trading some stuff. Had 2 trades in the NFL yesterday. Kenny Young from the Los Angeles Rams gets traded to the Broncos. And Joe Flacco from the Eagles, who, that's right, he was the 3rd-string quarterback of the Eagles, LOL, got traded to the Jets because their starting quarterback, Zach Wilson, is hurt for a while. All right, some storylines we didn't get to during the NFL and college football weekend. First things first, we're going to talk about this rule on the handoff thing from Kansas. It's the Kansas-Oklahoma game. So I have it pulled up here. It's just on a clip. This is what happened. So Oklahoma has the ball. It's right around midfield. It's 4th and 1. They're winning by 5. Kansas is trying to get the ball back. Oklahoma's going for it on 4th and 1 to try to steal the game, right? To just kind of keep the clock moving and whatever. So I have it pulled up on the screen, and you might be able to see it. So we'll just play it for fun.
3rd and 1. Brooks this time spins off one. They get stopped. No, Williams took it out of his arm.
Yes. So what happened is Brooks. There's a hand up to the right side. He got stopped. The quarterback, who didn't have the ball, saw that he was stopped. He went over to the guy and just stole the ball from his own player. And then he spun forward and got the extra yard. Nobody knew what to do with this. So Terry McCauley, who was an NFL and college football rules analyst, weighed in on this illegal play, I think. Quote, the runner was held and driven back at least 2 yards prior to losing control of the ball. It should have been declared dead and short of the line to game. This is not reviewable. The next issue is whether this is a handoff or a fumble. Let's find out as Kansas gets screwed. So he has pictures of the rule book. Fumble and handing the ball are defined below. While not entirely clear, the rule seems to infer that handing is an intentional act by a player in possession. If so, that would make this 4th down a fumble and could not be advanced as the ball was taken away, not handed. So it was totally illegal. Totally illegal. So if Kansas wants to be PO'd today, they should totally do that. Last night, Monday Night Football, the Manning cast happened. Another storyline from the weekend is that Tom Brady threw his 600th touchdown pass, which is crazy. So Matthew Stafford threw his 300th. Tom Brady threw 600 touchdown passes. Mike Evans, the receiver who caught it, didn't realize that it was that historic, so he gave it to a fan. He just found a guy in a Mike Evans jersey, and he gave it to a fan. And the fan's got like one of those Florida crocodile hunter hats on with a Mike Evans jersey. And so the Tampa Bay Bucks send a representative over there to negotiate with him. They ended up giving him a $500 gift card to the pro shop. Right now, this second, the ball's estimated value is about $500,000. $500 to the pro shop. Here's Peyton Manning talking on Peyton Manning. It's Peyton Manning, Eli Manning talking to Tom Brady on Monday Night Football.
The auction items, memorabilia, and there's my boy Tim negotiating with Byron, who gave to me. Byron realized he lost all of his leverage once he gave the ball away. He should have held it and then just get as much leverage as
amateur
possible.
move. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
if he would have held it, he would have been sitting in the Tom Brady suite for the rest of the season. But
Yeah, so that's funny, but like in NFL stadiums, apparently, like unless it's handed to you by a player, like if there's an accidental overthrow, the team still owns that ball. I hate that. If a ball goes in the stands, it should be your ball. And they played off of this guy's emotions. That's a $500,000, bro. But he was sitting super close to the stadium, so I don't know if he cares that much. Should have kept it. That's a $500,000. Oh man, the Manicast last night was fun. Marshawn Lynch is one of the guests that dropped by. I don't like to watch it just because I don't know. It's got a very podcast vibe, and I like watching football games. It does bring a really intense amount of attention to the fact that ESPN's broadcast just absolutely blows. So let's hear what Marshawn Lynch had to say.
Your interview with Peyton on his Peyton Places, and I learned that before games, you had a pregame ritual where you do a shot and a half of Hennessy before the game. Did you do anything to get warmed up tonight?
I will see, because I ain't playing, so I had a 3-shot minimum today.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So I'm feeling real good.
Yeah, you look like it.
So I took one for me. I took one for Big Bruh, and I got one for Little Bruh.
My man.
So
awesome. Marshawn Lynch never changed, buddy. You are who you are. What a guy. Important part of the Manicast last night as an Ole Miss alumni is that Peyton had to fit into a size medium Eli Manning Ole Miss jersey because Ole Miss is the superior school at college football. All right, some other things that we want to get to. The World Series starts tonight. Let's take a look. Let's preview this bad boy. God, I bet baseball just hates so much what's happened. The Houston Astros are hosting the Atlanta Braves. I have no idea who's favored. Let's see. World Series favorite. I have the game tonight's favorite, but I don't know who's favored. World Series favorite. Which team is the favorite to win the World Series? The Astros. Oh. Okay. Well, the Braves are hotter, and baseball is, it's one of those sports where people will pretend to know, but nobody has any idea. It's a sport based on an enormous amount of retrospective data and an enormous amount of experience. People can just be like, oh, well, this, and then it's just super easy to be wrong about something and then explain why you were right even though you were wrong, which is hilarious. 5 storylines to watch. I got this from CBS. Pitching. I mean, this is what I'm saying, like where I feel bad for baseball, because this is just an incredibly boring series. So much of America missed out on their opportunity to hate the Astros because of the pandemic. It was going to be the Astros hate, the summer of hate, and then nothing happened because the pandemic happened. Now they're kind of over it. The Braves are cool, but they're such a quintessential baseball team, but the Georgia fan base is not the same as the Northeastern fan base or the LA fan base. Those are baseball cities. Georgia's just a sports place. And while the Bulldogs are the number 1 team in the country and the Falcons are trying to rebuild, there's just no chance that the Braves are going to have the level of hysteria and attention that a team like the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Dodgers or the Giants would have. So I think baseball's got to be a little bit bummed out by this. Alas, we shall prevail. The starting matchup tonight is Charlie Morton versus Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez? I actually don't know. I know that he pitched his ass off against the Red Sox. That guy made the Red Sox look silly. The Astros are favored by 1.5. The over-under is 8.5. I'm going to go under. I think I'm just going to be under. These games have such tiny margins of error. I think margins of error, margins for error. Yeah, same thing. They have such tiny margins of error that I don't think there's any chance it's 5-4. It's going to be like 3-2. That's my guess. And what the hell do I know? ESPN reporter Allison Williams threw a huge fit over months and months because she didn't want to get vaccinated and said that she spoke with her. She threw her doctor under the bus. She did this thing where she said, I spoke with my doctor and my care team and have decided not to get the vaccine. Her doctor did not recommend that she did not get the vaccine. She just said that, so it makes it look like that. It's a really clever little thing that douchebags do to make it seem like someone told them that what they're doing is smart. No doctor would ever recommend you don't get the vaccine unless you're allergic or something else. Nope. However, Allison Williams was then she resigned, quote unquote, from ESPN. No, her ass was fired because she can't work if you're not vaccinated at ESPN. And now she works for the Daily Wire. And I got to say, from the bottom of my heart, no one cares about Allison Williams. Yeah, but here I am talking about her. Trade deadline is 1 week away. Players rumored to be on the move. Deshaun Watson. The whole Deshaun Watson thing is a mess. If you haven't been paying attention, he's accused of sexual assault and misconduct with some masseuses in the Houston area. There are 10 criminal complaints, which means it's being investigated. There have been no charges filed. And there are about 24 civil suits against him. But the rumors are that he could be traded to the Panthers or the Dolphins. The way this works is the NFL is quote-unquote investigating the situation with Deshaun Watson. But because he hates the Texans so much, the Texans aren't going to play him because they don't want him to get hurt and they don't want to deal with this. So the NFL has been in this really like lovely limbo where they don't really have to discipline Deshaun Watson and they can kind of wait to see what happens in the criminal and the legal investigations, right, and the civil investigation. But now the deadline is coming up and the Dolphins and the Panthers are rumored to really, really want him. However, if that's the case, then the NFL would have to step in and people are going to lose their minds if he starts to play. But if you're the Dolphins or the Panthers and you trade first-round picks for Watson and then he goes to jail, you're going to want your pick back. So this is a messy situation, and it would be so stupid to trade for him right now. So dumb. And it's not going to be a great situation. But that's the one that everyone keeps talking about, the guy that can be on the move the most. There are other guys that could be on the move. Detroit Lions defensive end Trey Flowers could be on the move. There are always some offensive linemen and stuff that could be on the move. I know the Texans might break things down with their wide receiver, Brandon Cooks. He could be on the move. It's been kind of a quiet, boring deadline this year. I suspect that not much is going to happen. We already said that there have been a couple of trades. There have been a couple of trades already. They were incredibly boring. Joe Flacco, third-string quarterback, now a backup quarterback or perhaps starting quarterback for the Jets. The Jets make everybody sad. And then Kenny Young, the linebacker, of course, going to the Broncos. The Broncos making a very low-level trade to try to save Vic Fangio's job, which I don't think it's going to happen. Aaron Rodgers last Sunday, scrambling out of the back of the end zone, threw it away right about a yard short of the goal line. Dan Orlovsky has a screenshot of the play. I'll bring it up right now, and he says, what might have been? Now you ask, why is this funny? Well, because Dan Orlovsky is the Lions quarterback who is famous for running out the back of the end zone like it was nothing, just safetying himself. And Aaron Rodgers quote tweeted Dan Orlovsky and said, I thought about you legit right after this. It's not funny as a Lions fan. No, it's absolutely hilarious. It's not funny. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. All right, tomorrow we're going to talk more about fantasy football. I've been lazy on that, but it's time. It's rounding the corner. The bye-apocalypse happened. So it's still a lot of buys happening in fantasy football that are going to be important for people that play and care a lot about that. The NBA has two storylines, Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons. Other than that, the games are rolling. In the NHL, the top storyline is that the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks suck and no one knows what to do. The rest of us are really just kind of enjoying that and find it hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. I guess we'll just touch on this real quick. Maybe we'll report on this later, but conference realignment. Conference USA is losing some of its big dogs. Allegedly, it's rumored that they're losing their big dogs to the American Athletic Conference. My quick 30,000-foot view on this is I don't care because it's similar to the Mountain West and the WAC. All you're doing is kind of reshuffling some stuff. The idea is that the American Athletic is going to try to become a group of six, but the only way that that's going to happen for me and really like become like a powerhouse conference is not to steal other good schools from a mid-major conference, like a competitive conference. You have to throw a bunch of money at a good school. You want to have a conversation about this, go to a place like BYU and say, like, you can have all of the money. They already went to the Big 12. Boise, say, you can have all of the money. Or, I don't know, Colorado or Nebraska. Take Nebraska to the American Athletic and say, you are trillionaires now. This is the Nebraska Conference. Until you do something like that, this is, I think it's just sort of, instead of eating your vegetables, it's just mixing them around on your plate. I really don't think anything is going to come of that at all. The World Series first pitch tonight. I actually don't know when the first pitch is, and it's not because I'm not doing my research. It's because the television wants me to watch the effing pregame, and I don't care about the pregame. It's slated for 8:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to watch 5 innings and catch the highlights for you tomorrow. I promise we're going to do more fantasy football tomorrow. Like, rate, review, subscribe. We'll be back and better than ever tomorrow morning.